The Senate will come to order. I ask everyone present to please rise and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. In the absence of clergy, let us bow our heads in a moment of silent reflection or prayer. Reading of the Journal.
In Senate, Monday, January 23, 2023, the Senate met pursuant to adjournment. The Journal of Sunday, January 22, 2023 was read and approved. On motion, the Senate adjourned.
Without objection, the Journal stands approved as read. Presentation of petitions. Messages from the Assembly. Secretary Reed.
Senator Bailey moves to discharge from the Committee on Rules Assembly Bill number 989, is substituted for the identical Senate Bill 841, third reading calendar 50. Senator Krueger moves to discharge from the Committee on Rules Assembly Bill number 1283, is substituted for the identical Senate Bill 108A, third reading calendar 150.
Substitutions are ordered. Messages from the Governor. Reports of standing committees. Reports of select committees. Communications and reports from state officers. Motions and resolutions. Senator Gianaris.
Mr. President, I move to adopt the resolution calendar with the exception of Resolution 296.
All those in favor of adopting the resolution calendar, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. The resolution calendar is adopted. Senator Gianaris.
Now let's take up Resolution 296 by Senator Brooke. Read its title only and recognize Senator Brooke.
Secretary Reed.
Senate Resolution 296 by Senator Brooke, memorializing Governor Kathy Hochul to proclaim January 23, 2023 as Maternal Health Awareness Day in the state of New York.
Senator Brooke on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I also want to thank my Senate colleagues, the Majority Leader Andrea Stewart-Cousins, for his support in introducing this resolution. Today is the first time in New York State that we are recognizing Maternal Health Awareness Day. The American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, also known as ACOG, began recognizing this day in 2016. It is now recognized across the country, and today we finally recognize it in New York. But in order to fully grasp the need for a day like today, we must first understand the state of maternal health in this state and in this country. For those who don't know, the United States has the highest maternal mortality rate in the developed world. And as so many other health conditions in this country, it is Black mothers who are suffering the worst, who are 4 times more likely to die during childbirth than white non-Hispanic mothers, even when controlling for factors like education level, income, or access to quality health care. In my hometown in Monroe County, where I represent, the maternal mortality rate is 46% higher than the national average and 54% higher than the rest of the state. I've got a lot of colleagues here from New York City. You should know, according to the New York City Department of Health, Black women are 9 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related causes. So what does this mean? It means for me and a lot of women who look like me, the prospect of giving birth is both terrifying and daunting in this country. It means that for every expecting mother who walks into a hospital pregnant, they wonder if we'll be walking out healthy with a healthy baby. Bringing a child into this world on your terms, when you want to, should be one of the most joy-filled times in our lives. But for too many of us, that joy is robbed. That's on us as leaders. We have to do better to support maternal health in New York. We have to do better for Shamani Gibson, who died at age 30, 13 days after giving birth. For Amber Rose Isaac, 26, who died due to complications from an emergency C-section. For Shasia Washington, 16, who died after undergoing a C-section. For Denise Williams, 29, who died just days after seeking postpartum care for pulmonary embolism. And so many people whose stories we haven't heard. I hope this resolution does more than memorializes a day for us to be aware of maternal health in this state, but that it is a moment to move into action. Let's pass legislation that addresses the maternal mental health crisis in this state. Let's support the expansion of life-saving doula care in our budget process. And let's please remember the names of not just these women, but all of the birthing people who are suffering in our country and our state, and let's honor them by taking action. Thank you.
Senator May on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise to thank my colleague for bringing this resolution and raising awareness about this incredibly important issue. It's also very fitting that we're doing this on the same day that we're passing a number of important bills about abortion care, because the two go hand in hand. We know that the states around the country that do not support abortion care are also the ones with the highest maternal mortality rates. Part of that is because they also don't support contraceptive care, they don't support sex education, or in many cases just health care for low-income women. But it's also because abortion care is care for pregnant women. Abortion care goes hand in hand with care with prenatal care and postpartum care at a lot of clinics. And so I am proud that we are supporting both maternal health in general and specifically maternal health through the bills that we're passing today. I vote aye. Thank you.
Senator Scarcella Spanton on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President, and Senator Brooke for introducing this resolution recognizing Maternal Health Awareness Day. In an effort to shine a light on maternal health, ACOG's theme this year is Know Why, to get to the bottom of the root causes of maternal mortality rates. Far too often, this issue is overlooked. We have to make sure that we continue to shine a light so we are there for mothers every step of the way through pregnancy, through childbirth, and postpartum. I look forward to working with my colleagues to improve maternal health access across the state. And I wanted to share a personal story. You know, when my daughter was born, it was my husband who was the one who noticed in the delivery room that my arm started to swell up because I was hemorrhaging. This is an issue that affects all women and is so often that women are not listened to in the medical field. And it was incredibly important during COVID, if you remember. They prevented moms from having a support person in the delivery room, and we were able to work with all of the colleagues in here to make sure an executive order was passed, which I think was really life-saving. So again, I look forward to working with everyone in this chamber to address maternal health. Thank you so much.
The question is on the resolution. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The resolution is adopted. Senator Gianaris.
At the request of Senator Brooke, this resolution is open for co-sponsorship.
The resolution is open for co-sponsorship. Should you choose not to be a co-sponsor, please notify the desk. Senator Gianaris.
Please take up the reading of the calendar.
Secretary Reed.
Calendar number 39, Senate Print 830 by Senator Brisport, enactment of the Social Services Law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect on the same date and in the same manner as the chapter of the law 2022.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart, Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 61.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 42, Senate Print 833 by Senator Breslin, enact to amend the chapter of the law 2022.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart, Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ashby. In relation to calendar 42, those senators voting in the negative are Senators Ashby and Oberacker. Ayes 59, also Senator Walczak. Ayes 58, nays 3.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 46, Senate Print 837 by Senator Rivera, enactment of the Public Health Law.
Read the last section.
Section 6, this act shall take effect on the same date and in the same manner as the chapter of the law 2022.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart, Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 46, those senators voting in the negative are Senators Lanza and Ort. Ayes 59, nays 2.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 47, Senate Print 838 by Senator Ryan, enact to amend the labor law.
Read the last section.
Section 4, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart, Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 47, voted in the negative, Senator Griffo. Ayes 60, nays 1.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 50, Assembly number 989 by Assemblymember People Stokes, enact to amend the executive law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart, Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 61.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 51, Senate Print 842 by Senator Kavanaugh, enact to amend the real property tax law.
Read the last section.
Section 4, this act shall take effect in the same date and in the same manner as Part A of the chapter of law 2022.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Giannaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Relation to Calendar 51, voted in the negative, Senator Oberacker. Ayes 60, nays 1.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 95, Senate Print 1327 by Senator Kavanaugh, an act to amend the election law.
Read the last section.
Section 15, this act shall take effect in the same date and the same manner as the chapter of the law 2022.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Giannaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar number 95, those senators voted in the negative are Senators Ashby, Borrello, Canzoneri Fitzpatrick, Gallivan, Griffo, Helming, Lanza, Martins, Matera, Murray, Oberacker, O'Mara, Ort, Palumbo, Rhodes, Rollison, Steck, Tedisco, Wolzick, Weber, and White. Ayes 40, nays 21.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 150, Assembly number 1283 by Assemblymember Seawright, concurrent resolution of the Senate and Assembly proposing an amendment to Section 11 of Article 1 of the Constitution.
Call the roll on the resolution.
Addabbo, Giannaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Senator Kruger to explain her vote.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm very pleased that we are today passing for the second time the constitutional amendment we've nicknamed the Equal Rights Amendment. I want to remind everyone, our federal and state constitutions were written at a time when the promises of equality only protected the interests of a few, and so our constitutional protections are woefully inadequate. In fact, our last version was adopted in 1938, and the New York Constitution's equal protection and civil rights provisions fail to reflect our current vision of equality. In fact, New York's Constitution only explicitly creates equality protections for race and religion, and is silent on protections for other classes that have been historically targeted. Our state's Constitution's Equal Protection Clause does not provide comprehensive protections against discrimination. In fact, it only explicitly protects a small number of us. We must amend our state constitution to include robust protections against discrimination that effectively work to hold our state and its institutions accountable for ending discrimination. This measure proposes amending our Constitution's current Equal Protection Clause in Article 1, Section 11, to create broader protections against discrimination by the state and its institutions. These protections under this reform would now explicitly prohibit discrimination on the account of a person's ethnicity, national origin, age, disability, or sex, including sexual orientation, gender identity, gender expression, pregnancy, pregnancy outcomes, and reproductive health care and autonomy. Some people think we have these protections in law, but as many of us have learned only too recently, a court can come in and knock down protections we thought we'd had our whole lives, such as the Dobbs case at the Supreme Court. New people can be elected that knock down laws that we thought protected our fundamental rights, only to learn that those laws can change. What you really need to protect your citizens is clear information in your Constitution about what is protected. With this amendment, which will now go to the people for a vote in November 24, we will be able to determine for the future of 20 million New Yorkers that they have equal rights under our laws and under our institutions. So I'm very glad to be voting yes, and I hope all my colleagues will join me in that. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Kruger to be recorded in the affirmative. Senator Jackson to explain his vote.
Thank you, Mr. President. To my colleagues, I rise to explain my support for the second passage of the Equal Rights Amendment known as ERA, to provide New York voters the opportunity to amend the New York State Constitution in November 2024 to codify access to abortion and contraception, as well as to extend current protections against discrimination to several new protected classes. As we mark what would have been the 50th anniversary of Roe v. Wade, we find ourselves fulfilling our duty to pass the Equal Rights Amendment for the second time, delivering on our promise. This amendment will ensure that New Yorkers are guaranteed protection from discrimination and will codify reproductive rights in the state's constitution. Today, we are summoned to continue strengthening New Yorkers' commitment to protecting women and LGBTQI rights. This is especially important at a time when these rights are under attack across our country. New Yorkers have the opportunity to codify reproductive rights in our state's constitution and afford equal protection from discrimination against women, pregnancy outcomes, reproductive health care, and autonomy and protected classes under the New York State Constitution. And I thank our colleague, Senator Liz Krueger, for her work on this issue, as well as the bill co-sponsors for their efforts to protect reproductive rights. With the passage of this amendment, New York continues to be the leader this nation needs. We stand in unity against destructive policies that endanger the health and safety of Americans. I proudly vote aye.
Senator Jackson to be recorded in the affirmative. Senator Ramos to explain her vote.
Mr. President, you know, the Equal Rights Amendment was first introduced here in New York State in 1938. And in 1938, women who looked like me in this country, we couldn't vote, we couldn't own property, we couldn't open a bank account or build wealth, we couldn't serve on a jury. We certainly couldn't run for office or be state senator. And of course, we were allowed to cook, clean, and raise other people's children. Some things haven't changed. But today, I am proudly wearing a button loaned to me by an incredible New Yorker, Eileen Sullivan Alber, who's a retiree of Teamsters Local 851 and TWU Local 100. She passed this button on to her granddaughter, my Legislative Director Samantha Walsh, as she symbolically passes the torch to us, the next generation, to take up the fight for the Equal Rights Amendment. I'm so grateful that this body is the one that gets to pass the ERA. Under the leadership of a strong Black woman with a freshman class made entirely of women senators, we are passing the ERA to complete what the 19th Amendment failed to do. You know, the 19th Amendment was a big victory for white women, but it was also a form of radical exclusion, carving out Black, Asian, Latina, and Indigenous women. Now, here I stand before you, the daughter of Colombian immigrants, of proud Indigenous heritage, the first woman to represent my hometown, the most diverse district in the country, thrilled to vote for the inclusion of women, of all women, in the text of our Constitution here in New York State. Thank you for leading on this issue, Senator Krueger.
Senator Ramos to be recorded in the affirmative. Senator Salazar to explain her vote.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am thrilled to be voting in support of the Equal Rights Amendment again today, bringing us one step closer to amending the state constitution to explicitly protect the rights of all New Yorkers against discrimination. And I want to thank Senator Krueger for carrying the torch of the ERA for years and ensuring that it reflects the ways in which different identities and classes intersect with one another in our state. The implications of adding this inclusive Equal Rights Amendment, especially with regard to gender identity, reproductive autonomy, pregnancy outcomes, and abortion access, have never been more urgent than in this moment, and I am proud to vote aye.
Senator Salazar to be recorded in the affirmative. Senator Hoylman Siegel to explain his vote.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise to proudly support the Equal Rights Amendment, and I want to thank Andrea Stewart-Cousins, Senator Krueger, and all the women in the chamber for their vote and for moving this issue forward. On behalf of my two daughters, age 5 and 12, thank you. And also, thank you for the protections that are included in this amendment that recognize sexual orientation, gender identity, and gender expression. codifying the protections that were passed on this floor decades ago under the Sexual Orientation Non-Discrimination Act and the Gender Expression Non-Discrimination Act. That's particularly important, as was referenced earlier, because of the hate-filled attacks across this country against LGBTQ people, in particular young transgender people. Close to half the states have legislatures, Mr. President, that are moving forward with bills that would separate children from their parents just because the parents are trying to do the best by their kids and seeking gender-affirming care. And of course, we know about the "Don't Say Gay" nonsense in states like Texas and Florida, as well as the phony controversy around Drag Queen Story Hour in our very own state and New York City. So this is a great day for a lot of New Yorkers who have formerly lived in the shadows without the protections of a constitutional amendment like this. I proudly vote aye.
Senator Hoyman-Siegel to be recorded in the affirmative. Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 150, those senators voted in the negative are Senators Ashby, Borrello, Felder, Gallivan, Griffo, Helming, Lanza, Matera, Murray, Oberacker, O'Mara, Ort, Palumbo, Rhodes, Rollison, Steck, Tedisco, Walzig, Weber, and White. Ayes 42, nays 20.
The resolution is adopted.
Calendar number 151, Senate Print 348B by Senator Clear, enactment of the public health law.
Read the last section.
Section 5, this act take effect on the 180th day after it shall become a law.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Giannaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 151, those senators voted in the negative are Senators Ashby, Borrello, Canzoneri Fitzpatrick, Felder, Gallivan, Griffo, Helming, Lanza, Martins, Matera, Murray, Oberacker, O'Mara, Ort, Palumbo, Rhodes, Rollison, Steck, Tedisco, Walzig, Weber, and White. Ayes 40, nays 22.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 152, Senate Print 1003A by Senator Hinchey, enactment of the public health law.
Read the last section.
Section 8, this act shall take effect 1 year after it shall become a law.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Giannaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Senator Hinchey to explain her vote.
Thank you, Mr. President. Healthcare must be considered a human right, and yet in so many places across our state, especially in our upstate and rural communities, we are losing access to healthcare, to reproductive care, gender-affirming care, and often end-of-life care as well, because of a host of issues, not the least of which is hospital consolidation. And in communities like mine, when a hospital consolidates or a hospital decides to not offer a certain type of health care based on policy-based exclusions, that leaves the community without access to the care that they deserve. Reproductive care is health care, and in so many of our areas, they are losing it at an alarming clip. And so this bill, for the first time, will provide our state with the transparency that we need to understand where our healthcare deserts are for healthcare like reproductive care, gender-affirming care, and end-of-life care. It will also require, for the first time, hospitals who choose to not provide certain types of healthcare to disclose that information so that community members, when they are choosing a doctor or they are seeking care, they know what is available in their backyards and what's not. They know that when they are picking a doctor, if that doctor will be able to provide the care that they need now or in the future. This This is critically important information for people to decide how they want to live their life. And so this Hospital Transparency Act is going to be the first step in determining what we need to do in our upstate and rural communities to ensure that no matter who you are, where you live, what your economic status, you have access to the care that you deserve. I thank the Majority Leader for bringing this bill forward, for including it in this package. I thank my colleagues for voting on this bill, and I'm incredibly proud to vote aye. Thank you.
Senator Hinchey to be recorded in the affirmative. Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 152, those senators voting in the negative are Senators Ashby, Borrello, Canzoneri, Fitzpatrick, Felder, Gallivan, Griffo, Helming, Lanza, Martins, Matera, Murray, Oberacker, O'Mara, Ort, Palumbo, Rhodes, Rollison, Steck, Tedisco, Walzig, Weber, and White. Ayes 40, nays 22.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 153, Senate Print 1043 by Senator Stavisky, an act to amend the education law.
Read the last section.
Section 5, this act shall take effect 18 months after it shall become a law.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Unanimous, Kruger, Ort, Stewart, Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 153, those senators voting in the negative are Senators Ashby, Borrello, Canzoneri, Fitzpatrick, Felder, Gallivan, Griffo, Lanza, Martinez, Martins, Matera, Murray, Oberacker, O'Mara, Ort, Palumbo, Rhodes, Rollison, Steck, Tedisco, and Walzig. Ayes 42, nays 20.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 154, Senate Print 1066A by Senator Mayer, an act to amend the criminal procedure law.
Read the last section.
Section 15, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Gianaris, Kruger, Ort, Stewart, Cousins, White.
Senator Mayer to explain her vote.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise to explain my vote in support of this bill, which provides the strongest possible legal protections for New York healthcare practitioners who provide comprehensive reproductive health services via telehealth. This legislation builds off the historic reproductive rights package, which we passed in June of 22, strengthening New York's role as a national sanctuary for reproductive rights. We should remember that in the 7 months since the Dobbs decision reversed 50 years of precedent and 50 years of a constitutional right we thought we were entitled to, clinics around the country have closed. In the first 100 days after Dobbs, 66 clinics in 15 states closed, and in the first 6 months after Dobbs, abortion is no longer available at all in 14 states, and about 25 or 26 states are likely to ban or significantly restrict abortion. Legal access to abortion has been severely restricted across this country, and people seeking abortion have had to make the most personal and difficult decision in a way that we could not have imagined. We simply could not have imagined. We are protecting explicitly telehealth and telehealth services in this legislation by protecting New York doctors who provide abortion health care to patients living in states with hostile abortion laws. This legislation operates as a shield to New York's healthcare practitioners who perform telehealth services against states who try to impose criminal actions against them. With this legislation, we're stepping up to say abortion rights will be protected regardless of where the patient lives. We may be safe here in New York State, but we will not forego or forget the millions of our sisters throughout this country who had a constitutional right until Dobbs, and it was simply eliminated by this Supreme Court. I'm grateful for the tireless efforts and contributions from so many who worked to make this bill a successful one and who guaranteed the right to safe and private care from our world-class practitioners in New York. I'm especially grateful to our Majority Leader, Senator Stewart Cousins, for bringing this bill to the floor, and my Assembly colleague, Assemblymember Carinas Reyes, a registered nurse who is the sponsor in the Assembly. Together, we are collectively ensuring that New York remains the place of safe care, regardless of where the patient lives. Thank you, Mr. President. I vote aye.
Senator Mayer to be recorded in the affirmative. Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 154, those senators voted in the negative are Senators Ashby, Morello, Canzoneri Fitzpatrick, Felder, Gallivan, Griffo, Helming, Lanza, Martins, Matera, Murray, Oberacker, O'Mara, Ort, Palumbo, Rhodes, Rollison, Steck, Tedisco, Walzick, Weber, and White. Ayes 41, nays 22.
The bill is passed. Senator Gianaris, that completes the reading of today's calendar.
Is there any further business at the desk?
There is no further business at the desk.
Move to adjourn until tomorrow, Wednesday, January 25th at 11 a.m.
On motion, the Senate stands adjourned until Wednesday, January 25th at 11 a.m.